Hey friends, it's time for a timeout. So grab your favorite beverage and your favorite chair and join us on today's show. Get ready to send us your comments and questions for our incredible guest. I'm your host, Steve Francis. It's going to be a great night on Timeout with Steve. Hey everybody, welcome in. Come on in. Glad to see you tonight. Welcome. Lots of you already jumping on. Emily Elliott says, finishing virtual Bible study. Faye Scherf says, hey, Miss Faye. Wilda Pingle says, hi, Miss Wilda. And Susan Cox says, good evening. Well, good evening to you. And Mike Chapman says, hi, Steve. Hi, back at you there, Mike. Frankie Hahn says, hey, brother. Hey, brother, back at you. And here's Jill Pietroburgo, who we had on the show the other night. Pietroburgos are here with a heart. Well, right heart back at you. Welcome in, guys. Here come the Christophers. Joyce Christopher. So many of you guys are hopping on. Oh, what a funny. Did you guys catch the Pietroburgos? She spelled their name wrong. She spelled her own name. And then she says, sorry, I spelled my name wrong. Well, hey, again, we're glad you're here. Hope everyone's doing well. The official stay-at-home order has expired. Woohoo! So everyone's out, and we've been talking about your favorite restaurant you're going to eat at the first time out. We went and ate at El Charro yesterday. It was very good. The service was awesome. The people were nice, and our staff went and ate and had a great time. And so get out and support the economy. And then we heard about bootleggers who fed like half the world, it seemed like. I heard 13,000 plus meals. So our community's awesome. Thank you guys for all that you're doing. Comment in tonight. Some of you guys are already in the room. Excellent. So glad you're here. And it's going to be a great night. So we always got to start with a dad joke. Here's the dad joke of the night. What do you call a bear without any teeth? What do you call a bear without any teeth? A gummy bear. A gummy bear. Okay, I'll give you time for the laughter. Pretty good. Ha, ha, ha. Awesome. Well, hey, let's get right to it. We've got some incredible guests tonight, and I'm excited to talk with them and hear what's going on in their world. You know them. We know them. And let's welcome in the Kings. Welcome, Kings. Hey, guys.
Hello.
How are you doing?
How we doing?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, so D. King, do you know someone named D. King?
I do. He is my father and the one that you all need to blame for all of my jokes.
He said, I don't know if you can see the screen, but he says, like the hat.
It's Cinco de Mayo. We had to do something.
Cinco de Mayo. Awesome. So
I've been working on Mexican cheer too. You know, the Arriba!
He ain't right. He's just not right. And we love him. So here's the crazy thing. He's the pastor, and he wore the hat to the office today at the church.
You know I did.
You know I did. It's been so fun. So how are you guys doing? Go ahead.
We also had Taco Tuesday to celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Taco Tuesday on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. So how you guys been doing? What's going on in the King world?
What's going on in the King world, Mikala?
We just been at home, lots of projects. I've still been working with school and doing packets for my kids at school. And so, yeah, lots of recordings and things like that. That's about it.
Yeah, we built a pallet wall. In fact, the wall that's behind us, we built just to make this into a studio so we could interact with the church from video. Obviously, I've been doing a ton of at-home study and prep and interaction. Our kitchen turned into a loaf factory for a long time, and so that's been fun. Mikala's made 100 or so loaves, I'm pretty sure. Something like that, and been out delivering those to people. So that's been fun. I built a porch swing out of scrap pallet wood. That was pretty fun. So you'll have to come and have a sit. The other day, or at the beginning of this, you were talking about grab your favorite beverage and sit down, get ready to go. The porch swing will probably be where we do that from.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
So lots been happening on with your world. It's great.
Yes.
You guys look well too. That's awesome.
We have had a ball. We
Yeah.
really have.
Been
Good.
good.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's dive into
Mikala
this.
got a Jeep not too long ago, and so
Go ahead.
we're diving
We're
somewhere.
ready.
Oh, we're diving. You were talking about the Jeep. Mikala has a Jeep.
Yeah, so we went to Peck Ranch looking for elk. We didn't find any. Apparently, they know there's going to be a hunting season. They've hidden away. Then we went by Rocky Falls and Blue Spring, and so we've been out a little bit like that too. Still maintaining proper social distance. It's so much distance that we were able to let Isaac drive for a good long time. I mean, that's why. That's when you know you're out in the middle of nowhere when you feel like you can let your 13-year-old son drive.
Wow. Yeah, no kidding. And
Yeah.
yeah, so let's dive in. Where did you guys grow up?
I grew up in Liberty, Missouri, which is right outside of Kansas City, and all my family is. I say all my family, but my parents are still there, and one of my sisters is there, and so that's where I grew up.
And I am not for sure how to answer that because some would say it's not yet happened. However, my years in growing up were primarily in Ponca City, and the great effort that my mother made to help me grow up, I'm just not for sure it took.
Yeah.
It's what we love.
Yeah, it is. It actually is.
So I'm not growing up in West Plains.
Okay, good. So how did you guys meet? Where did you meet?
You start.
So we met actually at Hannibal LaGrange. I was working for Missouri Baptist Convention, so I was traveling all over the state. And we met there, but we really kind of got to know each other when she came down and was a lifeguard at Windermere. And a lot of my students that I worked with in student ministry worked out there. And so I'd go out and see them and hang out and got to know her. And then when she went back to school, I missed her. And at the time, I hadn't dated anyone for 5 years, and I was convinced I was going to be single. So I thought, I must need to pray for her. So I really started praying for her. And not long after that, I thought, this is more than just a prayer concern. I really have an affection for her. So, but that's not when she knew that I was the one. You want to tell them how you knew I was the one?
Well, this is what John likes to tell people for sure.
What do you mean? You're acting like it's not a true story.
Well,
here.
it is true, I guess. So whatever. I have a pretty strong personality as well. And so I can admit that. I'm okay with that. But in the whole dating realm, I wanted someone who was strong and both spiritually and physically and mentally and emotionally and all of those things.
Both of those things?
All of those
So
things.
is any two of those?
Well, let's just go with it. So in that aspect, I hadn't dated anybody that I felt like really lived up to what I was looking for until one day John King came along, and I was a lifeguard at the pool, and he was being ornery. Shocker.
I know that surprises anyone who knows me.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so he was joking about something I don't remember, and I said, John King, you don't intimidate me.
I wasn't even trying to intimidate. Like I was like, I must intimidate you, or you wouldn't have said that. Like there's no reason
He was trying
to say that unless like you're intimidated.
You were trying. Anyway, all of that to say, right after that statement, he picked me up and threw me into the pool.
Over my head. I literally picked her up and threw her in the pool like a helicopter. She landed on her back. I thought she's never going to talk to me again. Turns out that's when she fell in love with me.
Was that supposed to be romantic?
No, it wasn't romantic at all. There wasn't anything about it romantic. What she liked was, this guy's not going to take it off of me.
He's not going to back down.
Okay. All right, good. So
it worked.
That's great. Worked out. So my parents hopped on and said, Mom and Dad are here, which is great. Hey, Mom and Dad. And then your mom hopped on. It's a little delayed when you were talking about how you were raised and it didn't work because you've never really grown up, she put on here, "Mama tried."
That's so true. And she's a good woman. I don't want my character to really impact her. Like,
Okay.
and my dad too. They are great, godly people. You shouldn't really pick on them. It just didn't take for me.
And then she put on here, "We knew he was touched early on."
Okay, you broke up there a little bit. What'd she say?
Said, we knew he was touched early on.
Now that touched comes from the Jeremiah Johnson reference. That's what that's talking about. And so if anybody out there knows, it's like it's when the guy's telling the lady, the Indians aren't going to bother you on account you're touched.
Yeah.
And so that's what they always say that about me.
Oh my gosh, y'all are crazy. So how long have y'all been together?
We've been married 19 years.
Okay.
This past April. And we were together about 2 years before that.
Okay. And
19 months, actually.
You got it down.
I could tell you dates. 19 months before we got married, 19 years since we got married. I'm really thankful for the answer she gave, because when you ask how long we've been together, I thought 2 words were going to come out of her mouth. Too long.
Well, jury's still out on that.
I think she's been touched.
So, obviously you have a family. Tell us about your family.
We have 3 awesome kiddos. Reagan is our oldest, and she is about to turn 16.
She's driving like with us, and it's kind of awesome. Like this thing that I've been fearing all these years, and then she starts driving. I feel real comfortable with it. And she's probably a better driver than her mom.
So who's the trainer? Who's the driver trainer? Okay, Dad. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No question.
And then we have a son, Isaac, who just turned 13, and crazy mini me.
He is a young man. I'm proud of him. He went out and helped me build a barn the other day with Chris Thompson. It was so fun. After we got done, he had worked so hard. I was like, you know what, son? You need your own gloves. I was kind of proud of that. A rite of passage moment. He gets his own gloves. Now, for him, that's what I'm going to continue to say. The reality is I'm tired of him stealing mine.
Yeah. We'll be praying for him.
Yeah. And then our youngest, Kylie, is 9.
You look like you had to think about that.
I did. All of a sudden, I panicked for a second, like, ooh, but she's 9.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, excellent. And so today was Cinco de Mayo, hence the hat. And then yesterday was some day that you talked about all day long. What was yesterday? Star Wars Day?
It was May the 4th be with you. Oh. So we had appetizers for dinner and then came down and watched the new Star Wars movie. It was pretty awesome.
Cool. All right. Favorite place to go?
We're weird like that.
Yeah. Favorite place to go? Ooh, that's hard. What do you think?
Define that. Would you say in West Plains?
Just anywhere, general. Like if someone said you can go anywhere, where's your favorite place to go?
Oh, that's really weird because Mikala would say anywhere with sand and a beach.
Yep.
And I would say mountains. I want to go to the mountains. I love the mountains.
You guys lived in the mountains, right?
We did.
Yep.
We did for a year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
So beach and mountains, you guys would say?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, favorite food?
We even like to go together.
Oh, boy, bless us. Sometimes. Lord. All right, favorite food?
Ooh.
Mine's tacos.
I would say that she just lied to you. I think she likes Oriental food.
Oh, I do like Oriental. I like hibachi a lot.
Yeah. She loves hibachi grill stuff. There's a sushi roll that she really loves. It's good. I probably would have to say steak and taters.
Can't beat that.
Yeah. I grew up in Oklahoma, and that was like the treat. And I still can't get it out of my head. Like that's my thing. However, I will say as far as something that's a little abnormal. And since my dad is watching, we absolutely love bologna biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
Bologna gravy.
So tell us about this. You told me about this. I'm like, what? So explain that to us.
Taste.
No, it's not an acquired taste. Steve has had it and loves it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's normal for a lot of people.
It's not normal, but it's because most people grow up rich. Right? My family, when we were, when my dad was raised by people who had been, in the Depression and stuff like that. And so they've just grown up trying to be frugal. And I said frugal, not cheap. There's a difference. And so what they would do is they would take hot dogs and they would cut those up into little chunks. And if you do it right, you kind of quarter them and cut them into little chunks. And then you put you make gravy out of that, a white cream gravy. And then you put that over canned biscuits. And I'm telling you, it is delightful. It's much more light than sausage gravy.
Yes. And here's the deal. In this household, you can only have canned biscuits with bologna biscuits and gravy. But if you make sausage gravy, you need to make homemade biscuits.
Now, she just said something that I take exception to. She said in this household, but I'm just going to tell you, those are the rules universally. Those should be the rules, and it needs to be understood universally. Ask my dad.
In your world.
No, ask my dad. He's on here. He's from Louisville. He'll tell you.
Okay.
So is it actually hot dogs or bologna in the bologna gravy?
Hot dogs.
Yeah, actually, hot dogs are just bologna that's shaped into tube steak.
So it might be called hot dog gravy.
Yes.
Well, if you want fancy.
Wow. So did you guys ever have chocolate gravy?
I have had that, but only after we moved to West Plains.
We've never had it before.
And now my mom is a huge fan of that, but that's caused a conundrum. Because like what she said just a second ago, homemade biscuits for sausage gravy, hamburger gravy needs toasted bread, and canned biscuits goes with bologna gravy. So then when you talk about chocolate gravy, what's that go on?
Crescent rolls.
Cinnamon rolls, maybe? Who knows?
I don't know.
That sounds good.
We're going to have to figure that out, though. It's a task.
D. King says it's in Hezekiah.
That's my dad. He continually quotes Hezekiah. Like if we were growing up, he'd tell me to go do something. I was like, what? He says, it says so in Hezekiah all the time. So I grew up thinking Hezekiah was an awful person. Like that prophet was touched.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you are a pastor. Oh, Scott and Christy. Oh my. Ooh, listen to this. You got to hear this. Scott and Christy Heidi. This is getting confusing. Maybe a Pop-Tart.
Ooh, a brown sugar Pop-Tart with chocolate gravy may be the way. We'll try it. Hey, test it out tomorrow and give us your data.
Yeah, that would be great. Maybe invite us over to test. Oh my God.
He's like, that'd be great. You go do that.
Cindy Temple's on here. She says chocolate gravy goes on a stick of butter.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, my lands. I had a heart attack just now thinking about that. Just thinking about it.
Oh, gosh. Y'all are crazy. Okay, so you are a pastor. What does that mean? What is a pastor? When people say Pastor John, what is a pastor?
Well, if you asked me this 6 weeks ago, I probably would have referenced leadership because a lot of the pastorate has to do with leading your people. What I have found in the last 6 weeks, though, and the emphasis really has more to do with service. And it has been a sweet and deep challenge to me as I've had people in our congregation who are really spread out that have some pretty massive needs right now, whether that be emotional or financial, just all sorts of needs that are happening. And so having to come to a place where you figure out how can I serve them? And the thing that I've missed, everybody knows I love to preach. I love preaching. But the thing that I've missed most during this hasn't been the preaching. It has been the ability to serve our people and to just be able to do that. So I think there still has to do with leadership, right? You have to be led by the Holy Spirit and walk that out. But today, I'm really convinced that it has much more to do with serving people, and it's quite a joy.
That's great. It's awesome. So you guys are we're having all kinds of little weird difficulties here tonight. I don't know what is going on. It's kind of super strange, actually. I've just turned into a blob.
For me, would say, you know what that is? That's spiritual warfare.
There you
It's
go,
spiritual.
baby. There you go, right there. Okay, so that involves a pastor involves a lot of things. I guess is where I was headed, right? It's like
Yep.
it's not just one little idea. It's several things, right?
Oh, yeah. Interacting with the staff. Sometimes I go and help people within our congregation do things. Sometimes it's from fixing fence, which I really love to do from back in the Oklahoma days, to going and sitting down with people wherever they are. I love that about my job. It's just so different every day. Every day can be different.
Yeah, that's cool. And Miss Mikala, tell us, you work with children, right? Tell us what you do.
So I am a middle school teacher for special needs kids. And this is my second year teaching. And it is, John and I really debated just me entering kind of back into the workplace, because I love doing ministry and love participating and love being a part of what goes on at the church, but also felt like maybe it was time for me to step out. And I really was worried about that and concerned about that. And we really prayed through that. But in that decision, a lot of it came down to, how can I be Jesus outside of church? Because a lot of times in ministry, we get caught in this little bubble of just church world and church ministry. And I was definitely in that. And so this past 2 years has been incredible for me, because I do feel like it has given me an opportunity to be Jesus, not only to special needs kids, but to people at the middle school, and to coworkers, and to even parents. So it's been an awesome, it's challenging year, to say the least. But even today, like, I got to go deliver a packet to one of my students, and the mom walked out and just started bawling, and just was able to give maybe some comfort and encouragement to her, and to be Jesus and to them,
It really is. She doesn't, I don't get to talk about this a whole lot, but she's an inspiration. The things that she has to do and the ways that she serves, it's awesome for me to watch her and just see the way that she interacts. And there's times where I literally want to pick up the phone and tell her boss, hey, she's not coming back, right? Because sometimes she gets physically hurt, where people push or kick, and she literally will tell me, John, I get to be the love of Jesus to some of these kids. And she doesn't get to preach that or to share that. She just gets to love people where they are, right in the middle of their struggle. And it really is inspiring. Unbelievable.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Frankie Hahn, who's watching, says, once you go special ed, you don't go back. Thank you for your dedication, ma'am.
That's true.
Yeah, it's cool. So awesome. Okay, so I got a joke. Can I tell a pastor joke?
It's going to be better than mine.
All right, so one Sunday morning, the pastor noticed a little boy staring up at the large plaque that hung in the foyer of the church. The plaque was covered with names, and small American flags were mounted on either side of it. The little boy had been staring at the plaque for some time, so the pastor walked up, stood beside him, and said, "Good morning, Alex." "Good morning, Pastor," replied the young man, still focused on the plaque. Pastor, what is this? Alex asked. Well, son, it's a memorial to all the men and women who have died in the service. Soberly, after a long pause, staring at the plaque, little Alex's voice was barely audible when he finally managed to ask, which one, the 9 o'clock service or the 10:30 service?
I like that one.
I thought that was really good.
That's good. That is a good one. Unfortunately, it's kind of true.
Oh gosh. Well, here's the reason that I actually kind of told that. Besides, I really thought it was good. Is like one of the things that I have heard you say that I think is really good is it's okay to have fun in church and to be happy.
Oh yeah, yes, we need to, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, the verse that I always quote is that the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus said, I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly. And if that's true, then it ought to emanate from us. It ought to, if Jesus is in us, life ought to come from us and interact with those. And sometimes when you come into a church, you feel like you've stepped into a mausoleum rather than a life factory. And I just think we ought to be alive.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And I think that's one thing people could say about you is just, the joy. And that's, again, kind of why I told that, because I hope and I don't think at First Baptist that anyone dies in the service of boredom, because it's pretty lively and passionate, and it's just fun and it's good. And so I love that because I've heard you say that before, that, we ought to be happy, and church should be a happy place.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question. And it really is. It's not something that should be manufactured. Even in our staff, you see the way that we interact and the way that we relate to each other. It's not like we have to discipline ourselves to have joy. It's in us. And then it splashes on people around us. And it's been quite a treat, Yes. I look forward to this Sunday being able to have some of that, because I get so much energy just from the other people and the people that are around and what's going on. We need each other.
So talk about that since you brought it up. What's happening this Sunday?
So this Sunday, obviously, we get to come back and celebrate. And then what's interesting is there's a lot of people who are still concerned about that. And so my hope is that they'll continue to be able to worship in their online settings that you've been so faithful to work out, and that the church has been so blessed to have those resources. But then there's several that are saying, no, I'm ready to go back. And for those that are ready to go back, we're going to have 3 different services. One's going to be at 8 o'clock, and it's really going to be geared to those who are the most tentative, who are the most concerned. We're going to ask everybody in that service to have a mask on. And then we're going to have a 9:30 service and an 11 o'clock service where we're not going to necessarily push the masks. The reason to have 3 different services is because we're going to have to be spread out. The beauty is, and it's one of those things where you'd have to say, what a coincidence, right? But just before all this happened, the church voted on whether or not we could move to chairs rather than pews. They voted and affirmed, hey, it's time to go to chairs. And there were all sorts of reasons for that. But now what's amazing is because we went to chairs, we're going to be able to spread them out a little bit more. Families will be able to sit together, but the family groups will also be able to be separated out just a little bit, and it will spread out in the sanctuary. Normally our sanctuary would fit over 500. We've got it set up to where now there's chairs for about 325. And then with gaps in there, we're thinking that each service will have about 250, maybe 200. What's wonderful about that is we'll be able to spread out, but we'll still be able to worship. We'll be able to come together. The Holy Spirit will still be able to interact with us, but at the same time, we won't be right on top of each other. What we're going to also be doing is we're working on how do we interact with things like the offering. We're going to be taking the offering up differently, just so that we're not passing the plate. We're not going to be doing bulletins, just so that we're not passing and touching. Even we're going to have the doors open so that people don't have to touch the handles and some of those things. Beyond that, we're going to have an overflow room set up to where if there's more than can be comfortably seated in there at the time and still spread out, then we're also going to have access to worship in the South Campus to where we'll be able to hold another 200. And so you begin to look at those things and you realize we don't have to worry. We don't have to be fretful. We just need to come ready to worship, ready to offer God our hearts, which I'm so excited about because I know what I get to preach about. And I'm just amazed at how God lines things out. He's been so faithful, so faithful.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Now, I heard something about we can wear our pajamas. Is that true? Somebody said that.
No, somebody was talking about it. Here's the truth. I want to see faces. And the reality is, like just today, I called Luke Boyer, and I wasn't able to get through to him initially. It was his son who answered the phone. It was Ian, and I recognized Ian's voice. And I just wanted to jump through the phone just to hug that kid. Like, I think it doesn't even matter right now about any of those things. What matters is the together aspect. Now, here's the deal. If you wear pajamas to church, I'm not going to judge you, but people are going to judge you. I'm just saying, they can't help it. It's human nature. Now, some of you can't fit in anything but your sweatpants because you've done nothing but sit on your couch and eat. If that's the case, come in your sweatpants. It's okay. I want to see your face, but people might judge you, period.
It's the
Wear your
diet.
shoes for crying out loud.
It's the
What'd he say?
It's the Corona diet. Oh, gosh. You guys are so fun. So today was Cinco de Mayo. Tomorrow is National Nurses Day. I just found that out. And then this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. Did you know that, Mikala?
I did, yes.
So that was kind of cool.
They've had something really neat. Different businesses in the area are providing something each day for teachers. Like Bootleggers provided supper last night. So it was pretty amazing.
That's cool. Well, we definitely appreciate our school people for sure, and it's really good. So
let me make a little bit of a joke on that, though. You know, yesterday was May the 4th, so we all talk about May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
Right? So my son today said tomorrow ought to be Revenge of the 6th instead of Revenge of the Sith. Whoa.
That's pretty deep.
Revenge of the 6th.
Oh my goodness. Wowzer. Okay. So hey, so we got several people watching. Lots of comments rolling in. Anything that's like you guys would want to say before we go that's like on your heart, or hey, I really wanted to say this, or something you just want to put out there?
I cannot wait to see y'all. Like, I've had a chance to see Steve. The reason Steve did this is we want to be with you all. And no, we can't see you all right here. Just know our hearts are with you. Let us know if there's anything you need. Call the church, whatever that is. I would say this. I want to hear how God has been challenging you during this time. I believe that this season that we're in, as difficult as it is a great time for God to be speaking his truth. And I'm anxious to hear how God has been teaching his people during this time.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting for sure. Okay, so we always encourage everyone to share the program. We're working on some special guests next week that I can't tell you yet. I really wish I could. But if it works out, we're going to have multiple people on, and it's really going to be cool. I'm pretty excited about it. It's not all worked out yet. Thursday night, we're not having a program because we're prepping for Sunday. So I won't see you Thursday night on here. And that's all I got, unless you guys got something you want to end with.
No, I really feel like I ought to do the hairball since my parents are on here. And so those of you who all had an opportunity to see the hairball on Facebook, you ought to go check that out too. It's been fun. There's quite a bit of hits on that.
No doubt. Tracy, is it Fugit? How do you say
Fugit.
Fugit says hi.
Tell her hi.
Okay, she's listening in. It's pretty cool.
Yes, that's awesome. That last name that you struggled with, Siri pronounces strange. And so I had to be very careful how I would tell Siri to call. Her husband and I are dear friends. And so I just got to where it's like, Siri, call my friend, rather than, because Siri just would obliterate that name.
Oh, wow, I bet.
Lovely people, though. It's good to have them on there, too.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. And you guys have been a lot of fun. We love y'all. And we'll see everyone Sunday, hopefully.
All right. Love you, too. All
Talk
of
to
you.
later.
Love you, Steve.
All right.
Have a good day.